In this tutorial, we have a header. It starts off with, "Hi, what's your name?" It's also underneath has a chocolate label that says type name. It has a vanilla input area where you can type your name. It's got a green button that says click me, and when you click it, it responds by giving you a message down here in this strawberry input section that says, "Hi there, Lisa." And then it changes the header. "How old are you, Lisa?" And it changes the chocolate label. "Type your age." Now you go into your vanilla input and you type your age. You click your click me button again and it calls a different function. Before it gives you the output based on that age function. Lisa, you're 48 years old in the strawberry section. It changes your header, "How tall are you, Lisa?" to another question. It changes your chocolate label to type your height. And it clears out this vanilla input. It takes out everything that you had typed before, the Lisa and the 48. So now you can type your height. Click that click me button. Now it's going to call another function, but first you've got, "Lisa, you're 5'5" tall." And it changed this to, "How much do you weigh, Lisa?" It changed your chocolate label to type your weight, and it cleared out your vanilla input where you're going to type your weight. And I'm not telling. So I click me. My strawberry element says, "Lisa, you weigh not telling pounds." It goes to another question. "What color are your eyes, Lisa?" The chocolate label says, "Type your eye color." Your vanilla input has been cleared out, and you've got the insertion point, and you type in your color, hit click me, and you've got an entire recap of everything that the function requested of you. The chocolate label says, "Thank you for your time." The vanilla input says, "You were a big help." The strawberry input says, "Have a wonderful day." And the button changes its value from click me to reload. And when you click reload, it starts the process all over again. So I've showed you the functionality. Let's take a look at the elements in the body of the page. So I'm going to open up my body tag. Here's my H1, which is my header. H1 ID equals heading, "Hi, what's your name?" End H1. Form action equals empty string. Opening field set tag. Label with an ID equals label. The value on the label at the beginning of the program says type name. End label. Next we have input type equals text, ID equals input. That's our vanilla input. Our label is our chocolate label. And then after our vanilla input, we have input type equals button, ID equals BTN, value equals click me, which you see on the face of the button, on click equals decide function. So we're gonna, when we get out of this and when we're done looking at our style, when we get into the script tag, we have a main function called decide function. Inside of that function, we have a bunch of if, else if conditions that, depending on what our counter is, that's basically going to let us know the first time we clicked the click me button, the second time we clicked it, the third time we clicked it, and so on and so forth. Depending on what that counter is, it's going to call a different mini function inside. So we'll get to that when we get to the script tag. But that's what that green button calls, the decide function, which has a lot of mini functions inside. Then we have an HR tag, which is a horizontal rule, which gives us this thin white line that goes in between the top and bottom sections of this. Lastly, we have input type equals text, ID equals output. This is giving us our strawberry output area. End of field set, end of form, end of body, end of HTML. So we've looked at every single one of the elements that you can visually see on this page. Let's close our body up. Let's open our head. Again, at the very top, we have our doc type declaration, doc type HTML, HTML. There's the head tag. Meta char set equals UTF-8. There's the title that says button click functions, which shows up here in the tab of our browser. Let's look at our style first. The style is how we colorize and padding and margin and all that good stuff, how we make our elements on the page look. So first of all, we have for our body, we have background color light steel blue. That gives us this pretty blue in the background of everything. I did not make up the name light steel blue. I downloaded a PDF from the internet so that whether I'm online or not, I have access to colors other than the obvious primary colors. And this particular PDF, I kind of liked the colors that it had. And so this is what I downloaded. And that's where I got light steel blue. Okay. Next, the ID of LBL for my chocolate label. I have a background color of sienna. That's actually a type of brown. So I'm calling this chocolate, but the background color is actually sienna. Color white, that's the foreground color, which is the text that's on the label. So the color is white. The width is 165 pixels. The padding is 4 pixels, 4 pixels, 8 pixels, and 4 pixels, which I think that means top, right, bottom, and left. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. If I misspell this padding, if I didn't give it that strange set of specialized paddings, that's what my label looked like next to my text input. And I didn't like that. Even if it just had a padding of 5, it still didn't match how the text input looked. So I foo-fooed with the padding, and this is as close as I got to them being similar. This display inline block is important when you're dealing with labels. And if I misspell display inline block, I'll show you why. Labels fit however much typing is inside. So this just has 2 little words, type name, and it hugs around the text. So I type my name, I click me, type your age, it gets a little wider. Click me, type your height, it gets a little wider. So you see my point. If you want to keep your label consistent, you need to use, just by setting width to 165 pixels is not good enough to set it to 165 pixels. You have to use this display inline block with your set width in order to get what you need for your label. And lastly, I gave it a font weight of bold so that the text would be nice and thicker. Okay, so that's everything for my chocolate label. Now I've got my input and output text areas. This is a text area that I call my vanilla text area, and this I call my strawberry text area. This text area is for the user to type in. You can type in this one down here, but the program doesn't call for you to type in here. The program calls for you to type here. That's why this has a label next to it that says type name. I'm using this strawberry input to actually show me output based on what the user types in. Okay? Now the input and the output share a padding of 5 pixels, a width of 150 pixels. It's got a background color set to moccasin, which is actually what's giving me my vanilla color, and font weight bold. Obviously, my strawberry section down here is much wider, and it's a different background color. So I have to add down here output with its own special styles that are different. Here it's got a width of 400 pixels and a background color of light coral. So light coral is what gives me my version of strawberry. Moccasin gives me my version of vanilla. And sienna gives me my version of chocolate. And let's see, did the input output? Let's do ID of BTN, which is what this button got. Background color of lime, padding of 5 pixels, and font weight of bold. Okay, I already did my output. And finally, I have my style for my field set. It's got a padding top of 10 pixels, a background color of black, and a float of left. If I didn't give it a padding top of 10 pixels, take that off and refresh the page, I didn't like that really thin padding up there, so I wanted a little more. So by giving it that padding top, it gave it a more consistent padding all the way around. The float left, if I take the float left off, then my field set wants to be as wide as my window. So I can either set my field set to a static width, or I could say float left and it'll hug the contents inside, which makes it easier than trying to just put a bunch of numbers. So I liked that better. So that finishes up all my style. See, in my end of my style tag. So let me go up here and close that style opening style tag just so that I can clean this code up. Let's look at the script now. Let's see how this stuff functions with JavaScript. This main function here on line 59, when I click my click me button, my green click me button, it calls this function that has the name decide function. Okay, I'm going to get into that function with all the mini functions inside in a moment, but outside of this function, inside of the script tag, but not inside of the decide function curly brace, I have created some global variables. I have created var times equals 0 because I'm going to use the variable called times to represent how many times we clicked our button. So it's a counter. So times starts off at 0 and it calls a certain function. And then we increment times and we change it from 0 to 1. When times is equal to 1, it calls a different function. When times is equal to 2, it calls a different function. So that's basically how we get the one button click to do different things. And then I had to create a bunch of variables because we only have one input area here, and each function allows us to put data in this vanilla box, and then we're going to set that data to this variable. So then every time we use this variable, at the end of the whole program, we're going to be able to pull out all these different things that were typed into this one single input area. It's going to save all the values: name, age, height, weight, and eye color. So with that being said, let's look at our decide function. Let's open it up, and we have an if, else if, many else ifs. If times is equal to 0, which it starts off as 0 because that's what we created it as. The value is 0. So this condition is true. So because times is equal to 0, what's in its curly braces is going to execute. So let's open that. It's going to call the say hi function, which that's a mini function inside of this function, decide function. It's a mini function inside of that. It's going to call it say hi. Here we're going to take the value of times, which is 0, we're going to increment up by 1. So now the value is going to be 1. So then when we get to this next else if, now it's going to ask if times is equal to 1. Well, it's true because we changed it right here. So we changed it right here. So this is true. So the curly braces that follow it is going to execute. Let's open that up. Now it's going to call the ask age mini function, and we'll get to that in a bit. And then it's going to bump times up by another one. It's going to waterfall down to this else if times is equal to 2, which is true. It's going to call the ask height function. It's going to bump times up to 3. Since times is equal to 3, it's going to execute what's in its curly braces. Let's take a look at it. It's going to call the ask weight function. Then it's going to bump up times again. Now times is going to be equal to 4. So this condition will be true. What's in the curly braces will execute. So let's look at it. Ask eye color is going to run. And then times is going to be bumped up to 5. So then this question, else if times is equal 5, is true. So now we're going to execute whatever's in these curly braces. Let's open it up and look. At this point, it's going to call a function called reload. So I just showed you how we're going to use if and else if conditions to call many functions inside our main function called decide function. So it's pretty cool. Now let's get to how the many functions work. Let me close up all these else ifs, tidy up our interface here. Let's look at function say hi. Function say hi, and here's the curly brace. It's going to hold it all. What we need to do is we're going to use document.getElementById and then the name of an ID that we set to a certain element here on the page, and then put it and set it. We're going to assign it with this equal sign to this variable. So with this statement, I'm going to have document.getElementById input, which is my vanilla input section. I'm going to assign this to a variable that I'm going to call vanilla. And I'm doing this just to make it a little bit easier to understand. I could say var text input equals document.getElementById input, but I just think it's easier for you to see the stark difference in the script's variable and how it's connected to the ID of the HTML element that we looked at in the beginning of this in the body tag, okay? So every time I refer to vanilla, and I'm going to manipulate the element that has the ID of input, okay? I'm going to do the same thing here when I say var strawberry equals document.getElementById output. So we're referring to this pink element here that I have an ID of output. And since I keep thinking of this as chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, I just thought it was a kind of interesting way to create my variables. Now, if you have a very complicated set of code, you might not want to do it like this. This is just my way of making it easy to understand. So every time we use the variable strawberry, we're going to do something to manipulate this pink box down here at the bottom. And finally, we're going to manipulate our chocolate label. We have var chocolate equals document.getElementById LBL, because this label I gave an ID of LBL. Okay, now we're going to grab input and assign it to the variable. So this label says type name, and this input I'm going to type something into. I'm going to type my name. Now, this value, what I just typed in there, which is Lisa, is going to be assigned into the variable name. So now whenever we use name, it's going to pull out whatever I typed in. See, name is highlighted here. So it says name, but it's really going to mean Lisa. And down here it says name, but it's really going to mean Lisa. So we are going to display the user's input, which is what I just put in, when I have strawberry.value equals hi there, comma, space, plus name, which is going to be Lisa, plus an exclamation point. So it's going to say, hi there, Lisa. It's going to be in the pink area. This is how we are going to manipulate by using vanilla, by using strawberry, and by using chocolate, our new variables. We are going to manipulate things on our page. All right, so I already changed my strawberry to hi there, Lisa. Here we're going to change our chocolate label. We're going to clear our vanilla text box, and we're going to set an insertion point focus into our vanilla text box. So with this, chocolate.enter HTML equals type your age. So no longer will it say type your name, it will say type your age. Vanilla.value equals an empty string. So it will no longer have Lisa that I typed in here. It will be an empty string, which means you won't see anything. And then vanilla.focus means that in this vanilla text area, you're going to see the insertion point, so you can just immediately start typing in there for the next procedure, or the next question that's going to ask you, which takes us to our next little section. Show next heading question. We're going to take our heading.innerHTML, which is this, and we are going to put in how old are you plus name, which we already saved to Lisa. How old are you, Lisa? And that's the end of the say hi function. All the rest of these functions are copies and pastes of this function with just a few changes made. So let me close the function say hi and let's check out ask age. And I might as well hit the click me here so we can actually, so that when we're going over this function, you can see the page change. See, we got the hi there, Lisa. Now we have how old are you, Lisa? Now we're going to do this ask age function. Again, we're doing this same thing here. Var vanilla equals document.getElementById by ID input. Var strawberry equals document.getElementBy by ID output. And var chocolate equals document.getElementBy by ID label. For each of these many functions, these three statements will be exactly the same. Now we're taking the vanilla value and we're setting it, we're assigning it to the variable age. So whatever I type in that vanilla box, it's going to go into age. Next, we're going to display it. Strawberry.value equals name, which is Lisa, plus a comma. You are, and then it's going to give me the value of age, whatever I type in, years old. Lisa, you are 48 years old. It's going to show up as my strawberry value. Instead of hi there, Lisa, it's going to change to Lisa, you are 48 years old. Now we're going to change our chocolate label. Chocolate.innerHTML equals type your height. So it's going to go from type your age to type your height. The vanilla value is going to be set to an empty string, and vanilla focus will be there. So let's go ahead and type the age and show you that. 48, click me. Lisa, you are 48 years old. Type your height is what went into our chocolate label, and our vanilla input blanked out. You can't see what I typed there before, and you see the insertion point blinking right there. How tall are you, Lisa? Is right here. Heading.innerHTML equals how tall are you plus name plus question mark. How tall are you, Lisa? This statement changed this heading. And that's the end of ask age. Let's close up ask age. Let's go to function ask height. We got these three statements. They're identical. I don't need to keep reading them over and over again. I'll move down. My vanilla value is going to go into a variable called height. So when I type into my vanilla here, I'm going to type my height 5 foot 5 inches. And I'm going to click the click me. And when I click the click me, I'm going to display that. Strawberry.value equals name, which will be Lisa, comma, you are 5 foot 5 space tall. So let me click it. Lisa, you're 5 foot 5 tall. The chocolate label goes chocolate.innerHTML equals type your weight. You see it, that has changed to type your weight. Vanilla.value equals empty string. Vanilla value, there's nothing in there. And vanilla.focus, I don't see the insertion point blinking in there. I don't know if I did something to make that. If I type out, if I click my mouse in the blue area, that insertion point disappears because now I've put the focus out here. I didn't pay attention if I did that and made the insertion point stop blinking in there. I could have done that. I probably did do that. And then the heading changed. Heading.innerHTML equals how much do you weigh, Lisa? And that's what it says. How much do you weigh, Lisa? That's the end of ask height. Close ask height, and let's look at ask weight. There's our vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. Get document by get document.getElement by ID of our input, our output, and our label, and setting that to vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate again. Whatever I type in the vanilla.value is going to go into the variable called weight. Then we have strawberry.value equals name plus UA plus weight plus pounds. So let's put in weight. I'm not telling you. I'm going to put the word secret. Lisa, you weigh secret pounds. Here, the chocolate went to type your eye color, which is right here. Chocolate.innerHTML equals type your eye color. Vanilla.value equals an empty string. You can't see that word secret in there anymore. And vanilla.focus. Probably because I'm clicking inside of here. If I would just run this without clicking anything else, that insertion point, vanilla.focus is what's supposed to bring that insertion point there. But I keep going back and forth, so that's probably why I'm seeing that leave. And finally, heading.innerHTML. What color are your eyes, Lisa? And that's what you see right here. What color are your eyes, Lisa? So we have finished everything about ask weight. Let's close that one. And let's look at ask eye color. We got vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate statements there. The vanilla.value is going to be set to a variable called eye color, which if I type in here, that's the value. Vanilla.value is green. When I hit click me, strawberry.value is going to say have a wonderful day. The chocolate.innerHTML is going to say thank you for your time. The vanilla.value is going to change from the green that I put in here to you were a big help. And the green button, the btn.value, is going to change from click me to reload. And then the heading.innerHTML is going to have a nice big long string of all of the data that it has saved into all these little variables. We're going to have the string name plus the value name plus a break tag to take us to the next line, plus the word age, plus the value age, plus a break tag to take us to the next line, plus the word height, plus the value height, plus a break tag to take us to the next line, plus the word weight, plus the value of weight, plus a break tag to take us to the next line, plus the words eye color, plus the value of eye color. So let's click this and watch all that happen. Thank you for your time. You were a big help. Have a wonderful day. Reload. Name Lisa, next line. Age 48, next line. Height 5'5", next line. Weight secret, next line. Eye color green. And finally, when I click reload, let's look at the function reload. It has only one line. Location.reload, and in parentheses the word true. So I'm going to click reload, and it takes us back to the beginning of the entire function. And that ends the main function called decide function.